Hi BookTube, my name is Sarah and welcome to the Bookish Knitter. Today I am coming to you with my weekly reads video. This is for week number 20 and it is May the 16th through the 22nd. I finished 5 books this week, not too shabby considering how my reading week started. I thought for sure it was going to be like a 2-book week, but luckily, whatever had been going on at the beginning of the week corrected itself and I got a ton of reading done on like Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So yeah, I will get into that, what happened in just a second. But as usual, I have timestamps listed below. So if you guys want to jump ahead to any of the individual reviews, please feel free to do so. And then I will talk about what I'm currently reading. And then I'll share with you the bit of crafting that I got done this week. So, sorry, that was the cat. That's Presley. He's just behind me here, like literally sitting directly behind the chair. So if I wheel back, I'm going to roll over him. Why do cats do that? Is it a danger thing? I don't know. It's their way of living on the edge, I suppose. So my reading week this week. So I recorded last Sunday, and on the Saturday, as I mentioned to you guys already, I had my first vaccine. And I was nervous all day Saturday. I think I mentioned this last week. And I was just irritable and nervous and not in any good frame of mind to do any reading or anything like that. So my reading on Saturday was pretty much in the toilet. By the time I was done my vaccine on Saturday evening, because I didn't get it done until after 6 at night. In retrospect, I should have had it done first thing in the morning, got it over and done with. However, the anxiety was gone because I felt good. However, I was exhausted. And then on Sunday, I recorded my video and I edited and uploaded the video and I was doing some reading and stuff like that. And then I ended up having a 3-hour nap on Sunday afternoon. If it's that kind of time, is that really considered a nap at that point? That's what it was. That was my side effect, was just pure exhaustion. So Monday rolls around. I was feeling a bit better. But Monday was crazy pants at work. I mean, I am all for being busy at the office. However, Monday was just above and beyond. I barely had a moment to breathe, let alone do anything else. Not that I sit here and read, but it's the fact that I was super busy at work. I didn't even really get a lunch break. So that kind of contributed to the fact I didn't get a lot read on Monday. And then I was just so tired by the time the day was over. So then Tuesday, I was trying to play catch up from the stuff that I didn't get done on Monday. And then same with Wednesday. And then finally on Thursday, it just seemed to all like calm down and go to a better space, a better headspace for me. So it was just an off week for me. These things happen, you know what I mean? So it's cool. It's all good. I did still finish 5 books this week. So let's jump in and talk about them. So the first book that I finished this week was The Path to Sunshine Cove by RaeAnne Thayne. I gave this book 4 stars. This was a NetGalley read, so thank you very much, Harlequin, for sending me an e-art copy of this one to read and review. This is the second book in the Cape Sanctuary series. Publication date on this one was March the 30th, 2021, so it's a fairly recent release. This is what I would consider to be a women's fiction novel, and even though I did have it from NetGalley, I did still listen to it on audio, and it was narrated by Vanessa Johansson. This was really cute, guys. 4 stars. I liked it a lot. It's very, very much, there is a romance contained within the story, but that's a secondary plot. That's like a B plot. The main plot of this story is about the 2 sisters, Rachel and Jess. And they had a very, very difficult childhood. I'm not going to get into what happened because it's something that's not revealed till much later in the book. And as such, they kind of both did different things. So Rachel's like a stay-at-home mom. She's actually an Instagram influencer. Excuse me. Everything has to be perfect. Everything has to look perfect. She has 2 daughters and a little boy. The little boy has just been diagnosed with autism, and her husband is trying to help, but she's one of those people like, I don't need your help. I can do it all myself. And as such, she's burning both ends of the candle, essentially, and she's going to burn out. Jess, I think I got the 2 of them right. Jess worked for this company that what they do is, sorry, probably a cat fur. And what they do is that for people who are elderly, who are going to be maybe going into nursing homes or downsizing to a smaller home, they go in and help them purge through the however many years of memories you have stored in your house. And what a rewarding job it would be, wouldn't it? And anyway, so she comes back to Cape Sanctuary because she travels all over the country doing this job. And she took this job in Cape Sanctuary so she could come see her sister and her nieces and her nephew and, for a few weeks. So there is a romance between Jess and Nate, who is the son of, I think her name is Eleanor. She's the woman whose house is being downsized. And there were some, and it was so interesting because both Bree and I read this one, and I don't really, well, there's something coming on the podcast. we got to interview RaeAnne and Thayne. That's all I'm going to say. So we both wanted to read this one prior to actually talking to her. And both Bree and I took different things away from it. And I think that's really interesting when it comes to books. And that's one of the things I love about books, is that especially books like this where there are so many different working parts within the story. And, you know, each one of us takes something different away. Like Bree really seemed to focus on the romance part of the story. Whereas for me, it was the sisters aspect, along with what Eleanor was going through. So her husband had just passed away a few months earlier. And the idea of going through all of his things. And the thing that broke my heart in this book was that she kept leaving like his closet till the last minute. Like, you know, there was a line in the book, something along the lines of like she would open his closet and his clothes wouldn't be there anymore, you know, like, and it broke my heart. And it was a wonderful, wonderful story. I really, really enjoyed this one a lot. It is the second book in the series. However, you don't need to have read the first one. I haven't read it yet. I think it was Sea Glass Cottage is the first one, but she is working on the third book in this series. So in a way, it's similar to the Wildstone series by Jill Shalvis in the aspect that it's all stories contained within a town, as opposed to what you would typically find with a contemporary romance series where, you know, you're getting these two characters, then you're getting the friend of the main character, then you're getting the sister of this character. Do you know what I mean? This is more, it all takes place in the same town kind of an idea. And that's what connects them. So they're companion novels as opposed to a series per se. So yeah, really enjoyed this one. Highly recommend it. The next one that I finished was A Good Old-Fashioned Cowboy. This is by Maisey Yates, Caitlin Cruz, Jackie Asherden, and Nicole Helm. So this is the second book in the Jasper Creek series. I also had this one as an e-arc from NetGalley and Harlequin. So thank you, Harlequin, for sending me an e-arc copy of this one to read and review. But I did have to buy a physical copy because it's Maisey Yates. Well, Maisey Yates, Caitlin Cruz, Jackie Asherden, Nicole Helm. I love all four of these ladies. So this was originally published in January of 2021, so it came out at the very beginning of the year, and this is a contemporary romance. Now, it is an anthology, sort of. It's an anthology in the fact that it does contain 4 separate stories, and each separate story has a beginning, middle, and end. However, you need to read the whole thing. You can't just jump into one story. You need to read all of them because they're all interconnected. So the plot of the entire book is about these 4 best friends, Hope, Kit, Charity, and Prue. And after Hope's wedding kind of goes down the toilet when her groom sends a text message to who he thinks is his mistress, to Hope, that he's not going through with the wedding. And that's how she found out. So her wedding is in shambles. So her friends are, of course, there for her wedding. And they all decide to go back to their hometown of Jasper Creek, Oregon, and kind of help Hope over the course of the summer kind of move on from this very devastating thing that happened to her. It was devastating in the fact that, you know, she was supposed to get married and the guy, you know, was a total D-bag, essentially, to be polite. Insert your own D word there. And they end up renting this farmhouse for the summer. Now, this is the second in the Jasper Creek series. Again, you don't need to have read the first one. The first one came out in January of 2020, and it was called The Cowboy for All Seasons, and it was about 4 cousins who all inherit this farmhouse from their grandmother, their shared grandmother, and how they have romances with these 4 different cowboys, and essentially the same idea. So these 4 girls rent that farmhouse, and it's kind of a bit of a magical farmhouse. There are certain things that kind of happen. There's this old Vitrola player. Is that what it's called? Like a record player that plays Andrew's sister's albums, you know, and if something is needed, it's suddenly found, kind of an idea. So it's essentially their 4 stories. During the summer, they end up leasing these storefronts in town, and you know, each girl revolves around her own store, and they have to get these stores up and running by the centennial of the town, and it's really cute. Now, if you have it on ebook, you're not going to get these cute pictures. I mean, there's only 4 or 5 of them, but they're just so adorable, you guys. So, like, at the beginning of each story, you get these cute little pictures of the storefronts. They're just a delight. They're an absolute delight. So, I gave the whole thing 4 stars. All of the stories I really enjoyed. Although I really did like a couple of the aspects of them. I think it was Kit's story. She has the bookshop. And the cowboy that she meets, what was his name? Bowring, I want to say. He takes a challenge with her to read a romance novel. And Kit's a little uptight. She's from, you know, she's been living in New York as an editor. And my door, oh, that's Goran. Okay. And she's been living in New York as an editor. All I could see was the door opening behind me. And she's a little uptight. She doesn't really know how to have a lot of fun. So he's like, for every romance novel I read, you've got to do something fun and silly with me. And like, for example, sitting on the back of a pickup truck, spitting watermelon seeds. Like, that's what it is. And I just found that totally charming. And the fact that he was loving reading romance novels. The other one was Charity's story. She has the yarn shop, and she does not know how to knit, though. And the cowboy that she meets is actually the grandson of the woman who used to own this yarn shop, and he knits his own socks. And I was just so over the moon with that, because my husband also knits his own socks, and I mean, of course, so do I. I'm actually going to show you guys a pair that I'm working on in a little bit, but so adorable, just so adorable. Now, word to the wise, these get spicy. I mean, these are hot and spicy stories, but they're all not very long. Although the book itself comes in at just shy of 500 pages. So it's a good, you're not getting these little tiny silly stories. You know, like these stories have some, pardon the pun, some meat to them, and they're really good. And I really, really like them. And I highly recommend both this one and the first in the series. I'm really, really hoping there's going to be a third. I really would love to see another one, because these are just so much fun. These 4 ladies writing together are just a delight, and highly, highly recommend. Yes, check that one out. The next one that I finished this week was A Brambleberry Summer, again by RaeAnne Thayne. This is another NetGalley read, so thank you again, Harlequin and NetGalley, for sending me an e-art copy of this one to read and review. This is the 6th book in the Women of Brambleberry House series. It's Harlequin Special Edition novel number 2845. This one has a publication date of July of 2021, so it doesn't come out till next month. No, 2 months from now. So it will be available for purchase either as an ebook or as a print book on the Harlequin website as of June the 1st. Even though it's got a July pub date. So if you want to pick it up early, that's where you can go ahead and do it. If not, if you prefer Amazon or another ebook retailer of choice, you'll have to wait till July. So just a little note there for you guys. This is a contemporary romance novel, of course, and this is the story of Rosa and Wyatt. And what I love about this one is that RaeAnne Thayne actually revisited a character from one of her books many, many years ago. It was one that she wrote for what is now the romantic suspense line, I believe. And it was about these 2 people who rescued this 15-year-old girl from Honduras from this horrible thing that happened to her. Her mother died, and she was like the victim of like some gang. I haven't read the story, but from what I understand, like from reading this one, you find out a bit more of Rosa's background. So she was a fan favorite, this character. And in the beginning of this book, RaeAnne Thayne's dedication is actually saying to all the fans who asked for Rosa's story, here it is. And I love it when authors do that. I really, really do. So essentially, this one is about a small town. I believe it's in California, and it centers around this house. So this is the 6th in the series. But the way RaeAnne Thayne talked about this is that she wrote the first 3 books and then the second 3 books. So it's like 2 trilogies in a way. You don't really have to have read the books before to read this one. Because I have read one other in the Brambleberry Cove series. Or not, sorry. In the Brambleberry House series. I got that in Sanctuary, Cape Sanctuary mixed up. And I was perfectly fine. They did mention a character in the one book that I had read, which I think is actually, this one might actually be considered book 5, because the one that I read is a character for Brambleberry House, but it's weird the way they write these series. So these are all special edition novels. However, the one that I read, the one previous to this one, was actually a standalone work. It wasn't a special edition novel. It was a single title. It was published as a single title. And it was a Christmas book, and it was really good, and I read it a couple years ago. Anyway, so yeah, so I really enjoyed this one. So it's about Rosa living in this house. She owns this home, and Wyatt is the chief of police in town, and he needs a place to stay after his house burned down. His wife passed away a few years ago. He's got a young son, and it's essentially their romance. Really, really cute. Highly recommend. It's a RaeAnne Thayne. You can't go wrong with a RaeAnne Thayne. Sorry about that. A little bit of extra noise here just now. So anyway, Presley's sitting beside me. I might see if he'll actually, like, come and sit in my lap. Do you guys want to see Presley? I don't think you guys have really seen Presley unless you follow me on Instagram. So just give me a second. This is Pressy, baby. Say hi to the people, Presley. No, he's camera shy. Isn't he a sweetie? That is my mom's cat. So, there we go. Now I'm covered in Presley fur. So, to the last two books that I finished this week, you guys. So, the first one, or the fourth book I finished this week, excuse me, was Daughters of the Bride by Susan Mallery. I'm actually not going to talk a lot on this. I'm not going to give you guys my star rating or anything at all like that, because this was the Book Sisters Book Club pick. But because the month of May actually had 5 Saturdays, we're holding off until next Saturday to do the live show. It's going to be here on my channel, so please join us to hear me, Bree, and Chloe's thoughts on this book. I can tell you it is the third book in the Los Lobos series. It was originally published in July of 2016, and it was narrated on audio by Tanya Eby, who I love. She's a great narrator. But other than that, I'm not going to give you guys any of my thoughts on this one. I'm going to save it for the live show. So please join us next Saturday for that. Sorry, usually I try and read these, so that when we talk about them in the live show, I'm doing this right afterward. And that was my original game plan. But then, again, the whole 5 Saturdays thing, plus there were some scheduling conflicts yesterday. So that's why we pushed it to next Saturday. But yeah, like I said, do join us here next week for my full thoughts on this. If you follow me on Goodreads, you have seen the rating I gave this one. All I can say is, well, I did enjoy it. It was not my favorite Susan Mallery. So that's all I'm going to say. More thoughts on it next week. And the last book that I finished this week was Jessi's Gold Medal by Anne M. Martin. This is the 55th book in the Babysitters Club series. Publication date of June of 1992. And this was, of course, a middle grade fiction novel. Presley's sitting beside me here in the little... Oh, sorry, Press. I just poked him in the face. I'm trying to pet him without looking. Oh, you're such a good boy. Sorry, distracted by cat. I gave this one 3 stars. Like I do for all the Babysitters Club books, I gave this one 3 stars. It takes place in the summertime, and Jessi ends up joining a synchronized swimming little team like in Stony Brook, and they end up doing a competition, and she's very nervous, and it was cute. I mean, it was cute. I think I read it in like an hour and a bit. So I'm loving reading these Babysitters Club books because it's allowing me to like get that. I needed to finish that book, and I got to finish that book, and it was, you know what I mean? Like it was... It's nice to complete something and put it down. So yeah, so I enjoyed it. So what am I currently reading? Oh my gosh, you guys, I cannot wait to talk about this one next week. So I am about 150 pages. Oh, I have a physical copy and I left it in the other room. I'll pop a picture up here of The Bookstore on the Beach by Brenda Novak. Oh my gosh, this is a single title standalone novel, and there's just so much going on in this book, you guys. So much going on, and it is so, so good. So it's about our main character, Autumn, who decides... Now, her husband 18 months ago went missing. I don't want to get too much into all of that. A lot of this is revealed in the book. Pretty much all I knew about this book going in was the fact it was about a woman whose husband went missing 18 months ago. She has 2 teenage children, a boy and a girl, and she goes from Tampa, Florida, to a place called Sable Beach, which I believe is in Virginia, which is where she grew up to spend the summer with her mother. For her and the kids to spend the summer with her mother. There's family secrets revealed, stuff about the husband, like where's the husband, what's been going on with him. There's this huge family secret that her mother has been keeping from her entire life. There is a potential accidental pregnancy. There is the possibility of a reconciliation with a old high school flame. That's like all this within one book. And I am addicted. Like last night we were watching the baseball game and I literally just sat there reading. It was so good. And then I went to bed and I'm like, I gotta go to bed. I actually have to go to bed. So my goal is actually to finish this today. So we shall see if I can do that. And then this morning, while I am editing this, I am going to start listening to A Call for Kelp by Bree Baker. I believe this is the 4th book in a Seaside Cafe mystery series. If I'm wrong, I will correct myself next week when I do my wrap-up, but I'm looking forward to this one. I do love this cozy mystery series. Sadly, Julianne Lindsay, who is Bree Baker, has announced that this series will be ending with the next book that's coming out, the final book coming out, but because she knows it's ending, she does get to wrap it all up, which I'm very excited about. So I'm looking forward to getting to this one. So that is everything for reading, you guys. Let's get into crafting. So first of all, something very exciting to share. I won a giveaway. So there is a knitting podcast, a floss tube, which is like cross-stitching podcast here on YouTube. And they're called the Steel City Stitchers, and I love them. So I'm subscribed actually to quite a number of floss tubes. There are a couple of them that I watch, but my favorite, though, would have to be Steel City Stitchers. And they were doing a giveaway for a pattern, because what they do is they get physical patterns, and then they stitch them themselves, and then they do a giveaway for it, which is kind of nice. Like, just passing that physical pattern on. Like, what are you going to do with it now that you've stitched it? Keep it in stash? It's like doing that with a book. You finish the book, you give it to a friend, right? So I won the giveaway, and this arrived in the mail, and I was so, so thrilled, you guys. So this is from a company called the Nebby Needle, and the pattern is called Beehives Matter. And look at how cute that is, you guys. Isn't that adorable? Oh, so there we go. Oh, so I won that. Isn't that great? So yeah, so this it's a physical pattern. Sadly, though, I do tend to stitch using my not my iPad. I don't have an iPad. Using my my Samsung tablet. I have a program that I can upload stitching patterns into and then use it to mark them off, and it's really great and easy, and it's good for my eyes because sometimes these patterns can be like hard to see. But this isn't a very big pattern, so it shouldn't be too difficult. You know, but yeah, so I am looking forward to stitching that one at some point. And it's not very big. But yeah, it looks really, really cute. So I'm really, really happy that I won that. And yeah, so that is super exciting. So let me show you what I've been crafting on this week. So first of all, I did decide to pick up my socks. I was going to try and go the whole month of May without doing any knitting. I really want to concentrate on my cross stitch, but I'm like, I need to mix things up because you start to get into a routine of doing something like when you're crafting, and certain muscles like start to bother you more than others, so you need to switch to a different motion, I guess. So that's why I decided to pick up my knitting. Cheers. I've got my iced vanilla latte my iced coffee from McDonald's. Sugar-free vanilla. Very yummy. Okay, so it's been so hot here, you guys. I'm not kidding you. 2 weeks ago, I was still wearing my winter jacket, and now we're having like heat warnings, like because it's been so warm. This is Canada. I saw somebody post on Instagram. I laughed so hard. It was like Toronto at the beginning of May, and it shows like this like snowy Toronto street with like people trudging through with their hats and their scarves, and then it's like Toronto at the end of May, and it shows like the Sahara Desert. I'm like, that's accurate. Scary accurate. So here's my sock that I've been working on. These are my blueberry waffle socks. I think that's what I called them. So I redid these. I had started and almost finished. I was halfway through the first sock, realized my stitch count was way off. So the last time I showed you guys, I was down here where my little peep is. Did his ear break? Oh no, okay, good. It's just the way I was. Isn't he cute? So that's where I was last time I showed you guys. So that's how far I've gotten. And yeah, this is just the leg. So it's going to go, of course, this way. So that's the top. That's the ribbing at the top and then down here. So the yarn is from a company called Knitted Wit, and it's called Paxi. That's the yarn. And this is the ball of yarn. Isn't that gorgeous? I'd missed knitting on socks. I hadn't done it in a while, and it's just so relaxing, especially watching baseball. And I can actually read and knit on these because it's a pretty simple knit stitch. Sorry, cat fur all over everything. This cat sheds like it's nobody's business. I mean, all the cats do, but Presley just seems to be like shedding. So yeah, so there are the socks that I am currently working on. Sorry, my yarn is all tangled. And then I did work on 2 different cross stitch pieces this week. One got a bit more love than the other. Let me put that over there. So the first one that got some love this week was Thayne. And this is from the Witchy Stitcher. This is a series of patterns. She has 8 of them, one for each of the pagan Sabbats every year. So this is May Day, essentially. It's the other name for it. So sorry, I've got the string hanging here. But I almost got the, I did get the candle done. I just have to do inside the lettering now. So that's what I have so far. Is that not stunning, you guys? Like, look at that. I love it. So I am really loving working on these. And then as I finish them, I'm going to mount them somehow, because I did have a request from one of you guys to see my finished pieces. Now, I haven't really finished anything. To be completely honest, I've only picked back up cross-stitching for the first time in many, many years. But I have a lot of projects on the go. So let me just do this. So again, sorry for the string kind of hanging there. So there we go. That's a little bit better for you guys to see it. I love the definition in the candle, like the shading and stuff like that. It's so pretty. So then in here, inside the bee, is going to be like flame, like just like up there. And then I'll have the candle holder itself down here, like the candelabra kind of is that what it's called? It's just for a single, you know what I mean, a candlestick holder. That's it. And then there's some other elements that go up and around here. But yeah, as I finish these, I'm going to finish them. And then I want to buy a frame from Walmart, just like a 9 by, you know, your typical, what is it, 10 by 8 by 10 frame or something like that. And then just pop these in as the holiday comes up. And eventually, because I will be redoing this room as soon as we get some extra money, and getting all brand new bookshelves that are going to line this wall here. And then this desk is actually going to move over here, so they'll be directly behind me. And I'd love to have these pieces, depending on the season, sitting on that bookshelf. That's kind of my goal. So yeah, so I'm really, really enjoying working on this one. It's been a lot of fun. It's a really easy stitch. If you are into anything at all, like horror related or creepy or witchy or anything like that, you need to check out the Witchy Stitcher on Etsy. And she also has a shop, like a regular shop. I'll leave link to her below, to her shop below on Etsy. She's got some amazing patterns. She's got one, like, for those of you who are into horror movies, that's like Camp Crystal Lake. It's like the poster for Camp Crystal Lake, which is from what? That's not Nightmare on Elm Street, is it? Is that the Jason movies? I didn't watch any of those horror movies growing up, to be honest, you guys. My husband knows what they are, and he would tell me. But yeah, she's got a lot of really fun, kind of campy, weird patterns. And then this whole Sabbath series, which I think is just absolutely delightful. And then the other one that I just picked up and did a bit on yesterday is my Zodiac pattern. So I don't remember where I was the last time I showed you guys, but I have now completely finished this corner work here, like the scroll work. And now I finished the circle here for the first guy, and then I've started his hair. So I'm actually doing one of the little Zodiac dudes. This is the Archer, which I think is Aries. Oh gosh, it's so bad of me. Pretty sure that's what it is. So that's what's going to be in here, and I'm going to work on this today and tomorrow, actually. That's my project for the next couple of days. I like to pick up something and work on it for about 3 days, and then 3 days is pretty much my point where I'm like, all right, I need to work on something else. So then I switch it up. So yeah, so I'll work on this today and tomorrow, which is great because I'm still off work for the next few days. Tomorrow is Victoria Day here in Canada, celebrating the Queen's birthday. So we get a day off and people do fireworks at 2 o'clock in the morning last night. Neighbors, fireworks at 2 a.m. No, nobody's trying to sleep. Everybody's got their windows open because it's so hot. I'm getting old. I'm like... So yeah, so I'm going to be working on this one for the next few days. But yeah, anyway, guys, that is all that I have for today. Oh gosh, this piece of fabric is so huge. This is so unwielding to work on. I do have a Q-snap frame, like a square frame that I could fit this in, but there's still a lot of extra fabric, and I do find that that frame is heavy. And I much prefer just stitching with the hoop. I just think it's so much easier. I know a lot of people stitch what they call in hand, where you literally don't have a hoop at all and you're just, I couldn't do it. I need that bit of tension. So anyway, yeah, that is that. And like I said, that is all for today's video. I do hope that you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below. Have you read any of the books that I read? What was your favorite book that you read this week? How was your reading this week? How's it going? I know that Memorial Day is coming up next week for my American friends. And yeah, I am going to finish this video, and then immediately I am going to go ahead and record my June TBR. So that will be coming on Wednesday, you guys. Be excited, because I am excited. I am so excited for my June TBR. So until my next video, everybody, take care and happy reading. Thank you all so much for watching. Bye, guys.